John, earlier you spoke about this migration of heavyweight content to lightweight content, and I found that fascinating. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. It used to be that we produced content and it was all big, heavyweight, expensive content. So people would do a couple of TV spots over the course of the year, and that was their play and sort of storytelling. We've now moved into a social world where you have content that goes through streams, and there's too much content. Not everybody can see everything. And so what's happening is brands are being required to produce a lot smaller micro content, lightweight content, that they put out over the course of a year. And of course, you're putting out content every day, a lot of content. And the hope is that a couple of people or one person will see a couple of pieces of content that you do over the course of the year. And those 3 or 4 pieces of content that they see were innovative, they were unique, they were novel, they were fun. That ends up forming the brand over that whole year. And we call that brand as pattern. It's actually from a group called Method, but it's a very smart way of thinking about in a streaming content world. How do you actually sort of think about a brand? It's actually a lot of small bets that brands need to make with micro content. And then collectively, those 3 or 4 experiences people have with that content, that ends up becoming who you are as a brand.
Is that more expensive? Because when you speak of brand as pattern and many small bets, that speaks to volume, and volume means a lot of production, video, infographics, and so forth. Is that a more expensive proposition?
It doesn't have to be. In many ways, I think it's just a rebalancing of your content or your story portfolio. It used to be that you had $1 million and maybe you produced 4 really big spots. Now you do maybe 2 spots, and you take the remaining budget and you do smaller stuff. So it can just be an infographic, it can be a tweet, it can be a sponsored story. I mean, it's stuff that's really small that doesn't cost as much. It's just that there's more of it. So I would argue it's really a rebalancing of your portfolio.